Hello and welcome to Ageless Rock, a channel for megalithic fans with megalithic lens to see things from a different perspective. Today, we are going to check out the world-famous giant Buddhas of Bamiyan in Afghanistan. It was an incredible Buddhist monument that no longer exists. In the valley of Bamiyan, in the province of Bamiyan, by the dry and desert land of Afghanistan, there are two giant Buddhas etched into the bedrock cliff for more than 1,000 years. It is believed to have been carved by the Hephthalites, who are also known as the White Huns. The origin of Hephthalites is vague. Their existence is rather short in history. The origin of these two giant Buddhas is also vague. But when you say two giant Buddhas chiseled by Hephthalites, it suddenly becomes clear and acceptable to mainstream. You can read everywhere that it has to do with Silk Road, but the Silk Road is 500 kilometers away to the north. I find it hard to see that this was once a busy city because of the Silk Road. The Buddhas of Bamiyan is about 160 kilometers away if you travel by UFO from the incredible but not so famous monolithic stupa of Taq-i-Rustam. These two giant Buddhas are approximately 820 meters apart if you travel by drone. This area is either cold or very cold most of the year, and inhabitants should be busy planting and harvesting while there is sunlight. The largest statue on the west in Vairocana Buddha depiction is called Salsal, which means light shines through the universe, while the smaller one on the east in Sakyamuni Buddha depiction is called Shamama, which means Queen Mother. Carbon dating of structural components shows Shamama was constructed first in 570 AD, and the Western Buddha was constructed 5 decades later in 618 AD. The taller Salsal statue stands at 55 meters tall, while the smaller Shamama stands at 38 meters tall. There are many articles that say Salsal is the tallest standing Buddha statue in the world. It is true, but he is not the tallest statue in the world. That is because Leshan giant Buddha at Sichuan province in China is 71 meters tall, but he was disqualified for sitting down. A simple comparison of the two giant Buddhas will look something like this. If you have seen Colossi of Abu Simbel in Egypt, then you might have a better idea of how gigantic these Buddha statues are. The statues are said to have been carved, but the finishing of the details were done with clay mixed with straw. It is basically the coating that makes the Buddha's clothing and other finer details. I wonder why it was never carved with the clothing design, since they are always praised as master craftsmen. The carbon dating based on plant fibers is what gave us the recent dating of these two statues, assuming the Buddhas were coated immediately after White Han monks completed chiseling the bedrock. But scientists are fully aware that the coating could have been done much later and the stone statues are much older. The statue is said to have been carved, but monks' finishing of the details was done with clay mixed with straw. But I am not sure how to explain the rows of rectangular holes. This is definitely not how ancient White Han's method of construction. I also find that the horizontal rectangular holes are similar to the ones you can find at megalithic sites around the world, like Temple Mount in Israel. It is the tunnel of the Western Wall where no one knows how it got there. There seems to be a pattern of a row of rectangular holes whether it is horizontal or vertical. If you think this is a coincidence, then how about the one in Maichishan grottos in China? Double gear track mark is unique in these three locations and probably more if we care to take note of this unknown tool. If you think this is a tool Chinese devotees use for hammering bedrock, then what about the one at Petra in Jordan? You can find the same vertical row of rectangular holes at Petra in Jordan. The left and the right side of the monument called Treasury has the same tool mark. Looks like the tool has two gears attached together and it rolls up or down. This giant Buddha is also very similar to the one at Bingling Grottos in China. You can tell from Bingling Grottos that a powerful machine sliced into the bedrock like clay, and so the arches were formed easily as a result of the tool used prior to making a statue. Judging from these photos, Bingling Grottos in China, Khazana or Treasury in Jordan, and Bamiyan Buddhas in Afghanistan all use the same unknown tool from the unknown ancient builders at a time when the mysterious megalithic culture was thriving on our planet. There is another feature which I find it hard to understand is how the Buddha ended up with a flat face. Did someone slice the face off? For now, it is just a guess that it was iconoclasm committed by intolerant devotees of other faiths, but there is no evidence of that either. The valley of Bamiyan is a fertile piece of land. You have to imagine lots of people living here. But yet, this fertile land is lacking in evidence of a large population over a long period of time were busy hitting the hard bedrock with primitive soft chisels in ancient past. Logically, those who know something are those who live within this area. There will be a verbal knowledge handed down by their ancestors, but yet they rely on Europeans to tell them what happened here. There are about 750 caves and niches if you care to count everyone, big or small, over this 1 kilometer stretch of bedrock cliff. Naturally, that will attract cave dwellers. These hermits occupied the caves for as long as history can remember. At a glance, you can say that the Heptalite monks like to carve tunnels and niches into bedrock religiously so that they can reach nirvana. But monks are interested in enlightenment, and that can be achieved through natural caves or wooden temples or simply just under a tree. Hermits throughout the world use natural caves, but if they find one existing unnatural cave, they will use that too. I have not come across monks creating a hole in the bedrock using power tools today. At a glance, you can say that the Hephthalites monks like to carve into bedrock religiously tunnels and niches so that they can reach nirvana. But this similar concept of cave dwellings can be found at Petra in Jordan, Manazan in Turkey, and many more around the world. You can check out my cave dwelling comparison under my comparison playlist. Bamiyan city is not always sunny and nice. It is cold during winter. It is only in our mind that ancient hard-working Afghans were happily hammering bedrock all year round. In reality, I think a good timing for hammering bedrock is from May to August after a good breakfast and a good pack of lunch where they can go back to have good dinner. These are the leftover strongmen who do not need to do farming, harvesting, and hunting and tending the livestock. In the year 630 AD, a Chinese by the name Xuan Zhang came to Bamiyan city and paid a visit to the two Buddhas of Bamiyan. He made a record that there was a 300-meter long Buddha. There is a gigantic statue and should be found easily. Maybe if it is rediscovered, it will be most likely a reclining Buddha and will be the world's largest Buddhist monument. But instead, after an intense search in 2008 for the giant Buddha, only a 19-meter long Buddha was discovered. It can fit a tennis court and is still impressive, but no one is talking about it. The Hazara people lived here since history can remember. I am pretty sure they would have recorded somewhere who and how it was done and where is the 300-meter long Buddha. Logically, they should still be chiseling bedrock. There is no reason not to hammer a few holes and call it home. The Hazara people would have plenty of 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms with a living room and a nice kitchen properties all over the bedrock cliffs when all they need is a chisel, a hammer and a bedrock cliff. It is a rock-solid investment of time because it is mortgage-free house for 1,000 years. Their housing properties can last 1,000 years on a property market listing. They would not need Europeans to tell them how it was carved out because when the Europeans came to know, they would still be busy carving. The holes can be house or mosque because they are Muslims now. All these mysterious rectangular holes, random in size and location, can be found all over megalithic sites all over the world. It defies logic to carve a hole so high to put a deity you cannot get to for worship. It defies logic to carve a hole where hermits cannot use because it is too high. Some articles describe that the 2 Buddhas and hundreds of niches were carved into the soft sandstone of sedimentary bedrock. Such description is misleading because the soft bedrock is very hard and the hard chisels were very soft. That is why people today are not doing it even with carbide steel chisels with power tools. History seems to tell us otherwise, that the so-called soft sedimentary bedrock were indeed very hard. The 6th Mughal emperor by the name Aurangzeb fired artillery at Salsal in the 17th century, but only damaged the legs. Then Shah of Iran, Nadir Shah, fired cannons at both of them in the 18th century. That did a little bit more damage to the Buddhas. I can imagine how disappointed he must have been. He obviously gave up trying. Then, in the 19th century, Abdurrahman Khan destroyed Salsal's face. There are many other attempts to destroy Buddhas after that. Setting explosive to the head and body and legs by Islamic extremists did little to destroy the Buddha. All these explosive activities doesn't sound like Buddhas in a soft bedrock where carving is not that hard. It wasn't until March 2001 when the Taliban finally blew up the statues with high-quality modern dynamites. The 2 largest standing Buddhas finally left this planet forever. It was an insane achievement by chisels and hammers if that ever happened, but it was pure madness to turn it to dust in a day. Today, the Taliban are selling tickets to see the giant Buddhas even though they are no longer there. The wonders of the world ended up in pure insanity of extreme religiosity would actually have mindless tourists visiting this site even though it is just 2 gigantic niches with nothing to see. Maybe you can go hunting other statues in this area as it is not well promoted. There are statues such as the one in the yellow box, which looks like sitting in lotus position, and another one in standing position with the face, hands and legs destroyed due to iconoclasm. Today, Hazara people of Bamiyan city live in a lifestyle we call third world country. Buddhas are gone and so is the tourism economy for this site. Well, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this short presentation on Buddhas of Bamiyan. See you in the next video and have a wonderful day. This is Bamiyan signing out. Khoda Hafez.